If you've been hitting the gym for months, no muscle definition, no changes in your physique, and you're just stuck in that skinny, fat body, I feel you, bro. I've been there. I started out that way. If I could go back and then change some of my habits when I was skinny fat, this is what I would change. Maybe you just don't know what to eat, or maybe you think you need to do hours of cardio to lose all the fat and get rid of it. But here's the thing, if you do hours of cardio, it's gonna look skinny with no muscle. What happened was I needed to find an exact approach, not working harder, but working smarter. And it took me a couple of years, but it happened fast. And I'm gonna tell you things I wish I did to make it go by even faster. So my mistake starting out was just eating whatever I wanted, thinking it was okay to just eat processed food, a lot of junk food, thinking I was fine where I was at, I was comfortable. Binge eating late at night, that's a big one. I would stay up late playing video games, then I would binge eat food while watching Netflix. Absolutely terrible habits. Sure, binge eating feels good, but does it feel good looking in the mirror every day? Feeling like shit, seeing all that stubborn belly fat in your face? Not having the confidence to be able to take off your shirt at the beach? It's not worth it. Another thing I wasn't doing, I wasn't tracking macros, didn't know how much food I was eating, didn't know if I was under eating or overeating. I was just distracted with all this dopamine. I loved playing video games. I loved Fortnite. I loved Netflix and just the feeling I get from sugar. But then the next day, you eat the sugar, you just feel like shit. It's not worth it. That's one thing I realized, but I didn't realize because I was stuck in this bad mindset. And there was a wake up call for me. And it was really when this girl, she felt my stomach. I was pretty young, but she felt my stomach. We were playing like basketball or something. And she was like, "Why is it squishy? Why does your stomach feel like that?" Damn. She did me dirty. Why is it squishy? I wish I had a six pack. I wish my stomach didn't feel squishy. That's not how I want my stomach to. I don't want a girl to tell me that. So that was the wake up call for me. And then I just started researching tons, watching YouTube videos like these, looking up what's the best way to lose belly fat, what's the best way to get in shape and actually make some serious progress. So that's really what I spent my time doing, and I learned a lot from YouTube. So what I've really found first though was a training split. I knew I had to be training my body parts each day, but at first mistake I made was only training upper body. I didn't care about legs. I thought it doesn't matter. I'll just get chest and I'll just hit my back and on arms and shoulders and I'll call that good, but you don't look complete. You're just still like a weak dude if you have skinny legs. So you got to be complete. You got to be balanced. And women, they'll like it too if you have bigger legs. So what I wish I did was stay consistent 6 days a week with a proper split, like push pull legs. I was consistent, but I was doing bullshit like bench pressing every day, which got my bench press up, but might would have been better, would have been a more structured, clear split where I'm actually targeting the muscle groups I want to grow, chest, shoulders, arms, and lats, but spreading it out and actually programming it a lot more smart instead of just, oh, I'm going to bench press and then I'm going to do 4 sets of this and I'm going to do another 4 sets of this. That's another thing. I was doing so much volume. My workouts were unnecessarily long. They could have been cut down shorter. Really, you only need an hour. I would say the bare minimum is 3 times a week, 1 hour in the gym. You don't have to be spending 2 hours, 6 days a week. If you want to get the best results though, the more you put in, the more you get out. So frequency is what really matters. If you're going to hit a muscle group twice a week, you'll see a lot more gains versus hitting a muscle group once a week. So the more frequent you are with the gym, you'll get better results. And that's one thing I wish I was smart with, actually letting my muscles recover for 48 hours, because I found that if you let your muscle group recover, wait 48 hours before hitting it again, it's fresh and you can feel a lot stronger. You can hit more PRs while doing that. That's the one thing I wish I had changed. First was the training, making it more optimal. You got to stick with the basics. You got to do what works. You got to experiment with all the different splits, and once you find out what works, stick with it and lock in. Another thing, I wish I tracked my calories sooner. I wish I knew how much protein I was eating, because at first I would just eat whatever I wanted, snack on nuts, and then watch YouTube videos and play video games, and then maybe I would eat a peanut butter sandwich and then Maybe I'd have pasta and chicken for dinner, but I didn't eat, these were just typical foods. They weren't bad, but they weren't great, and I was eating too much of it, probably too much fats. And that's how I got that skinny fat body. I wasn't weightlifting at first. I was just eating, and I was doing sports. I did diving in high school, but to really get that aesthetic physique, it has to be coming from weightlifting. And so that's really what will take your physique to the next level. But here's the thing, not just weightlifting, because you might already be going to the gym. The gym is the easy part. That's the bare minimum. Anybody can do that. But the real truth, the real gains come from actually leveling up in the gym, getting stronger, adding an extra rep. That's progressive overload. But besides that, you have to have your nutrition dialed because you cannot just out train a bad diet. And one of the best recommendations is to hit 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Protein will make you more full. It will make it easier to lose fat and build muscle. Protein is very satiating. It burns more calories to digest protein. It's a super crucial. And when I started eating high protein foods like chicken, steak, and eggs, I saw a massive difference in my physique. And another thing would be a slight calorie deficit. I was eating too much, and a lot of people tell me, "Oh, all it takes is just to eat healthy. Eat healthy, and you'll see results. Eat a salad." But that's not really what will get you in shape. It's your calorie deficit. It's your macros. Because if you're overeating on healthy food, well, you'll still be fat. But once I figured out how many calories I needed, I made sure I was in a slight calorie deficit. So eating less calories than what I'm burning. I found it out by going to the TDE calculator, weighing myself, tracking that. That's what got me in really, really good shape because I actually stuck to something, and I was tracking to know how much I needed food, how much food I needed to make sure I'm going to get the results versus going in blind, thinking eating healthy is good enough. It's not. Thinking going to the gym is good enough. No. Is you got to go that extra mark to reach that extra magnificent physique. To really stand out, that's what it takes. To reach a steroid aesthetic levels physique, Greek god physique, you have to do what others aren't willing to do. You have to do the extreme things sometimes, not drinking at the bars multiple times, multiple getting blackout drunk. You can't get a Greek god physique. You can't get in this aesthetic chiseled body fat, 10% body fat, if you're blacking out drinking beers and then binge eating. It's just not going to happen. How do you expect to get a physique if you're doing that? And that's one thing I just thought it was okay. I thought I was comfortable because that's what most of my friends did. They would eat normal, typical foods. They didn't go to the gym. So I thought it was okay because that's who I was surrounded by. So you got to get uncomfortable with yourself. You got to have that strong, really strong drive to push yourself to do the next level of things, to have this next level quality diet and just be locked in and not give up. So to track my progress, I would make sure I'm doing things right. If I'm gaining weight, well, that means I need to slightly lower my calorie intake. And I wish I took more progress pictures. That's for sure, because when you take progress pics, you see it the most. Like the scale doesn't tell you everything, but pictures of your physique, that shows a lot. You can really see more. Oh, maybe here my chest is looking a little bigger, and you won't be able to tell just from looking in the scale. But if you look in the mirror and then take photos, you can look back months and see the difference, and you're like, whoa. And once you see that difference, that can really motivate you to keep pushing harder and getting after it and getting even more results. Once you see your bench press go up in the gym, maybe you start hitting 225 and then you start repping out 225, man, you'll feel like a whole different person at that point. And that is rare. That is rare, but if you want a rare looking physique, you got to have this rare level of strength. That's what it takes. So trust the process, stay consistent. I would track not only your calories, but the weights in the gym as well. The one thing I did do right was making sure my bench press was going up. I set a goal and I was like, I want to hit 225 bench press. What I did though was to make sure I'm adding 5 pounds if I can each week. Some days I couldn't, some weeks I couldn't add 5 pounds, but maybe I can add an extra rep. So maybe I was doing 185 and I would hit it for 5. The next week I would try and hit 185 for 6. The week after that, maybe I could hit it for 185 for 7 if I was lucky. And that's what I would do. And I would make sure I'm progressing versus just going to the gym, showing up, leaving, going through the motions, it doesn't work. You have to make sure you're progressing. Another thing I wouldn't do, I wouldn't quit after a bad day, because I was forcing myself at first. I was having 3 protein shakes a day. So I was hitting my protein goal, but it wasn't very flexible. I just thought, oh, I need protein. So I'll have protein cereal, and then I'll have a protein shake, and then I'll have another protein shake before I go to bed. So what really matters is having the balance. Just because you have a cheeseburger, just because you go off your plan, maybe you have something really bad. The important thing is just locking it in, getting right back on track the next day. One thing I didn't know was how bad binge eating was, because binge eating, that's a whole different story. A lot of people don't know this, but if you binge eat to the next level, like me, because I have a serious binge eating problem, I can eat and eat and eat. Not anymore. I can control myself a lot better. I have more willpower. But when I was starting out, I could gain 5 pounds in a day. You can easily go through your kitchen, make 5 peanut butter jelly sandwiches, eat a whole bag of chips, eat an entire pizza, and gain 5 pounds the next day. And that sets you back so far. You could be losing 20 pounds. Maybe that took you 2 months or something like that. If you're lucky, 3 months, you lose 20 pounds. You binge eat, you gain 5 pounds. Well, you just set yourself back, 2 weeks, maybe a month? What are you doing, bro? And that's one thing I wish I really realized. Every time I cheated on my diet, I was not reaching my full potential. I was stalling my progress. And so now when I go to think about binge eating, that's what I'm thinking about. If I binge eat and eat all this junk food, I'm going to set myself back weeks from reaching my dream physique. Is it worth it? Yeah, sure, eating, it's fun, binge eating, it's fun eating all this junk food. But not the next day when you wake up and you realize you just set yourself back multiple different weeks. So that's one thing I would do, and instead of binge eating, I would have that mindset of, I need to be hungry sometimes, I need to sacrifice it. But you know what? Getting this extra stress is worth looking like a Greek god, having so much confidence, loving the way I look, less body dysmorphia. I'll take the stress. I'll take the hunger if that's what I'm gonna get. So you gotta understand that. And another thing was, I thought I had to have protein, but you don't have to just eat chicken and rice. You could have protein pancakes. You could have a burrito that actually fits your macros. Before, I would eat a burrito with sour cream, cheese, chicken, rice, maybe an extra cheese sauce. And that thing is probably 1,000 calories. But instead, you can have a low-calorie beef burrito. Tastes nearly as good with the right sauces, with the right salsa, some cheese, a low-carb wrap. You're getting the same wrap, but it's got like half the calories. They're called a carb balance wrap. They're 70 calories each. That's what you can do. So you can still enjoy the foods you love, but just make them way less calorie dense, which is going to help you stay in that deficit, which is going to help you lose the body fat. You make it more high protein. You're just hitting a double win-win. You're just hitting your goals in your diet, and you're loving it because you're not making it harder than it needs to be for yourself. You don't need to do these crazy diets, these chicken and rice diets, or these keto carnivore diets. Then it's not worth it. Because I would ask yourself, if you think about doing a diet like that, you gotta ask yourself, is it worth it? Can I stick to this long term? If your diet is starving yourself, are you gonna be able to gain the weight back once you stop starving yourself? How do you feel starving yourself? Do you feel like shit? Are you losing strength? You might be losing weight, but if you're losing muscle, what are you doing? You're still gonna get a skinny physique. So that's one thing I wish I realized as well, because I've tried starving myself to get lean, and it never ends up right, because when you starve yourself, you lose your muscle. If you can't sleep, if you get all these bad side effects from starving yourself, it doesn't work. So what you have to do is be in that slight calorie deficit, like I said, and hit your protein goal. And if you're looking to have a list of foods that you want to eat, just DM me guide on Instagram. I've got a full nutrition guide. It's got a grocery list, a guide for fast food and eating out, and a guide on macros, what they mean, what they do. So if you're interested, shoot me a DM there and I'll send it to you. Get more accountability. That's another huge tip I wish I had. When I was starting out, I didn't have any gym bros. I was kind of alone, and I could make decent progress. But what really skyrocketed my progress was finding a gym bro, and we just went 6 days a week. We had a class together. So right after class, Either we would do work out in the class because it was a weight training class, or we would just work out after the gym, after school. And I like the gains just doubled. When you have somebody at your level that can push you, you're going to be more competitive. That'll even drive up your testosterone because competition increases testosterone. So if you can try and find somebody in the gym after work, maybe you want somebody at your work, you try and motivate them to get in the gym with you and help you go on a weight loss transformation. Maybe you find somebody else who wants to lose weight at your work or at your school, and then you partner up with them. You start training with them. You start competing with them, and you track your progress. Bro, your gains are gonna skyrocket. Another thing though, I would step on the scale every single day to make adjustments based on what the number is, and the number is just a number. Don't get worked up about it. I would get worked up about it, but it's just a number at the end of the day. How are you really gonna let that bother you? All it is a number, and the thing is, if it does bother you, good. It should. If you step on the scale, you see 230, and you want to be 180, or we want to be at 200 pounds, good. You deserve to be uncomfortable. You deserve to get pissed off. And then you need to use that energy and strive to fix it. And that's the thing. A lot of people, they'll avoid the scale because they don't want to see how fat they are. They don't want to see it. I see that too. I used to avoid stepping on the scale. I used to avoid taking progress pics. I didn't want to see the way I looked. You need to attack your struggles, your pains, head on and attack them. Don't avoid them. If you keep avoiding them, you're just going to be stuck with where you're at, struggling for how long? Do you really want to be in the same position 6 months from now? Still not in the shape you want to be in? And every time I would cheat, or any time I would think about cheating, I would think about that. I would think about being 6 months down the line at the summer, at the beach. Man, do I want to be 20, 30 pounds overweight? Do I want to have love handles when I go to the beach? Or do I want to take off my shirt and have a six pack? I want to have the six pack instead, so I'm not going to eat this food tonight. That's really the mindset, the frame, the mindset switch I had that I put myself in every single time I wanted to cheat on bad food. And you can have it here and there in moderation, but really what it's about is making adjustments, making sure you're going in the right path, having extra support, getting accountability. If you want, we've got a full Discord community. People just like you trying to get in jacked, trying to get in shape. So if you're looking for an accountability partner, join the Discord community. If you want a step-by-step blueprint that can fast track your results, get you down 20 pounds in 30 days, pack on muscle, apply for one-on-one coaching for that extra accountability. I'll reach out to you. I'll see if you're a good fit. But I appreciate you guys sticking to the end of this video. Let's go. Peace.